Welcome back. Over the summer, the Virginia Department of Education updated its guidance for model policies for the treatment of transgendered students in public elementary and secondary schools. One of the updated protocols was the elimination of all, quote, gender-based practices. Now let's look at this. Includes examples of practices that may be based on gender include grouping students for class activities, gender-based homecoming or prom courts, limitation on who can attend as couples at school dances, and gender-based events such as, believe it or not, father-daughter dances. Well, to discuss this lunacy, I'd like to welcome in Terry Schilling. He's the president of the American Principal Project. Terry, welcome to the show. Now, listen, I want to start with the father-daughter dance because this one really is walking on the wrong side of me. I know you have a slew of kids. I have 4 myself. 3 of them are daughters, and I've had the distinct honor of attending, until COVID interrupted this streak, of taking my daughters to 19 father-daughter dances in a row every year right around Valentine's Day, as millions of fathers do, of course, all over this country. It's an absolutely wonderful tradition for me, for many, many fathers, and we certainly hope, of course, for these young ladies. What kind of a killjoy does it take? What kind of a cretin, really, does it take to say that they want to eliminate, that they are ordering that you eliminate father-daughter dances?
Steve, these are very unhappy people, obviously, and it's playing out, right? These are people that tell their voters in their states that kids need a safe environment when it comes to their schools. But really what they're doing when they say that is they're painting parents as the enemies. They're saying that kids aren't safe in their parents' homes. Parents are the enemies in this woke age of teachers and teachers' unions. They've taken over everything. It's time to just reject the silliness. I mean, these people are supposed to be teachers, which means that they teach our kids the truth. They're supposed to be teaching our kids math and reading, but they don't know that stuff anymore. They just know that men can have babies and that women can get prostate cancer. It's absolutely absurd, and parents need to start civilly disobeying these egregious woke jerks, to be frank.
No, and I hope a lot of, and I'm sure this will happen, particularly in the more conservative areas of Old Dominion, I hope a lot of fathers will just organize their own father-daughter dances in Virginia. Let's be honest, though, Terry, actually the mothers will probably do the organizing, and the fathers will be the ones attending, but let's hope that happens. But Terry, I also want to ask you about, of course, we can scoff at the silliness because it is silly, but we also have to talk about the real-world ramifications of this kind of thinking. When the cultural forces push gender fluidity, it, of course, removes fatherhood from the equation. It's one of the reasons, I think, that there are too few fathers in the home, or if they are in the home, they're somewhat AWOL. They're not involved fathers. I'm going to show you some stats, and these come from fatherhood.org. Children without a father in the home, they are 4 times more likely to be in poverty. They are 7 times more likely to end up pregnant as teens for the girls, because, again, only girls get pregnant. And they are, the Virginia Department of Ed won't like me saying that. They're also 2 times more likely to suffer obesity, which I find fascinating. So the statistics are alarming. This trend, again, toward gender fluidity, or toward denying the idea that there are 2 sexes and 2 sexes only, some of the real-world ramifications are, unfortunately, devaluing fatherhood, which has enormously negative consequences for these children.
Steve, that's exactly right. And the stats that you just showed, the importance of having a father in the home, show that men and women are different. A lot of people, a lot of good friends of mine, think that we're opposites from women, that we complement each other. And Steve, that's the beautiful truth, is that men and women are very, very different, but we're very much in complement with each other. We love each other, and that love creates new human beings that we raise for the rest of our lives. It's common sense. Our founders would say that it's self-evident truth, that fathers are important, that men and women are different. And these people really are, at the best, they are well-educated and well-intentioned morons. And at worst, they're evil morons who are trying to push a nefarious agenda.
Terry, it's almost as if there was some sort of creator who had an intelligent design, isn't it? But listen, I want to ask you, just briefly, if you would, because this happened in Virginia, which is having elections this year. Virginia is an off-year election state, a gubernatorial election in a normally very blue state. The polling indicates that it is neck and neck. Do you think that this is an item, an agenda item, that can be a winning item for Glenn Youngkin and for the Republicans in Virginia?
I absolutely believe that empowering parents to take back their kids' education is a hugely winning issue for Glenn Youngkin. He can do it, and he can do it because he can draw a big contrast amongst his Democrat opponent, Terry McAuliffe, and show Republicans and voters in the state that you don't need bureaucrats and these teachers unions determining the education of your kids. Parents should be in charge of that. And that goes all the way from this transgender issue, all the way to the critical race theory in 1619. Hell, it even goes to the mask issue. I mean, parents don't need to be told by health bureaucrats or education bureaucrats to mask their kids to keep them safe. We can make those decisions for our kids ourselves. We don't need the government and we don't need the state involved in that.
Amen to that, and congratulations to Bill Lee, the governor of Tennessee, who issued an executive order today saying that Tennessee parents, if their local schools try to make them mask children, it is overridden. The parents can make their own decision. Terry Schilling, thank you so much for being here as always. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Steve.